Hello there, welcome back to Cinema Flicks Music Picks. I'm Davey, your host with most, the beast with the least. Well, the very least I can do today is apologise for the lack of probable audio quality and visual quality on this here video. I've had to turn in my iPad to the geniuses at the Apple Store. They inform me it'll take 3 to 5 working days to fix. Geniuses, eh? Still, that gives me time to have a look at some other things in the interim. So this is a film review. Yeah, we've not had one in a week or two, have we? Have we? Have we? Have we? No, we haven't. We did have a big haul video, which was lots of mini reviews, but this is the first dedicated one. I wasn't even going to do this, but after watching it, commentarying it, I thought, need to do it. Need to do it. So it's directed by Wong Jing. Wong Jing, if you don't know him, has directed about 498,000 films in Hong Kong. He's appeared in about 383,000 more, and he's written or produced another six. Okay, that was a little bit deflating after the first two ridiculously high figures, but still. This is Wong Jing's film from 1989, starring Chow Yun-fat. Chow Yun-fat coming off, of course, of Better Tomorrow, his real coming out party, his work with John Woo, was, it's right in that period, isn't it? So even this film even pays tribute to. You get a scene where Chow Yun's got double guns and tasty. And you have a very young Andy Lau in here as well, and Joey Wong. If you aren't familiar with our director here, Wong Jing, he directed a film that's been released in this country by Eureka Masters of Cinema called City Hunter, starring Jackie Chan. And to give you an idea of how bonkers this guy is, he's the one that made a Jackie Chan film in which Jackie Chan falls through an arcade machine and comes out dressed as Chun Li from Street Fighter. And I don't mean the Sonny Chiba movie, I mean the video game Street Fighter. Anyway, God of Gamblers. This is strangely got a few parallels to Twin Peaks season 3. Hello, Sam. Um, our main character here is Ko Chung, but he is the god of gamblers. He's suave, he's debonair. You can look at, of course, yes, he's got slick back hair, he's an international playboy, but few people know his real identity. That he is indeed the god of gamblers. But he's involved in a terrible accident. There's a silly little sliding incident in which he really whacks his head off a pavement and oh, he really no shouldn't have done that. He really whacks his head off the pavement and forgets who he is. All he remembers is that he really likes chocolate. That's not me joking. That is a plot point in this film. His love of chocolate, and he's befriended by Andy Lau's character, who's a street hustler, small time card player, etc., etc., who realizes that wait a minute, this guy here, this savant, because he doesn't look like this by this point, he's a man child. He's a bit like Rain Man, I suppose. He's quite good at gambling for some reason. Maybe he can help me with my street hustling. And on it goes and on it goes and on it goes until all the pieces come together. Now, that's the bare structure of the film. Believe me, all your other tropes are there. There's the international crime boss, his great nemesis, who is going to bring down the god of gamblers and become the true. There's all sorts of that stuff going on. There's betrayal, there's backstabbing, there's international police involved. Very much a tropey film in that regard. But what makes it fascinating is Chow Yun getting to play the two roles almost of the god of gamblers and, as he's known in the film, Chocolate, because that's the only name Knife, played by Andy Lau, can come up with one. So Knife and Chocolate are where we spend a good chunk of this film. Should have called it Knife and Chocolate. That would have been an awesome film. So let's have a little look. So here, first of all, it's in a lovely, lovely slipcover. It's one of these hard ones like Vinegar Syndrome do for the VSAs, but it's really glossy and nice. I like that. Cool pick there of Andy and Chow Yun. And then we'll get the bones of it there. Ruby. The reversible cover is just the original cover, so I've already switched it. But hey, what do we say, boys and girls? If you get a poster or postcards, it's a deluxe edition. So this must indeed be a deluxe edition. So you get your new artwork, but with Cantonese, which I really like. I like that effort that they've gone to. And you get your original artwork, which again, rather lovely. Doesn't Angela looked a bit like Marty McFly the way I caught him there. But yeah, you get to see some lovely detail in this that you don't really get to in the artwork itself. And it's really blown up. You get all sorts of characters. It's really, really, really well done. So this is a gorgeous poster. This is absolutely fantastic. One of the treats though is the booklet. Okay, and this is one of the main reasons I wanted to make the commentary, the video. The commentary goes into this too, right? But this film, God of Gamblers. Now I knew there was a couple of God of Gamblers movies. What I didn't know is that there are 13 potential God of Gamblers movies. So the God of Gamblers universe, right? As this essay is indeed called. Some shots as we go along. I won't show you anything spoilerific, and as usual, but there's some cool artwork for it. This film spawned not just sequels, but prequels and spin-offs where we get the Knight of Gamblers and we have the Angel of Gamblers. And the one with the Angel of Gamblers is God of Gamblers 3, but there's two films called God of Gamblers 3, and I shit you not, God of Gamblers 3 is a time travel film where Stephen Chow's character transports back in time to Shanghai in the 1930s and has to work out a way to get home, and it involves gambling. And there's Andy and Joey Wong. Chow must have been on his lunch break at that point. But I could not believe it. This gives you, and the commentary goes into it as well, a fascinating breakdown of how this strange little gambling film with a savant character turns into not just a franchise, and here's the cool thing, get posters for all of them, but one that even Chow Yun Fat would come back to as late as 2015. Chow Yun Fat is in From Vegas to Macau, which has got Chow Yun back, and then there's From Vegas to Macau 2 and 3, and that's directed by Wong Ling, who's still doing these bloody movies after 13 of them, and Andrew Lau is now co-directing. You've got God of Gamblers Return, The Saint of Gamblers, God of Gamblers 3, the early stage, that's the time travel one. Conman in Tokyo, sorry, Back to Shanghai. God of Gamblers 3, Back to Shanghai is the time travel one. God of Gamblers 3, the early stage, is a prequel about the same character played by Chow Yun Fat, but when he was younger. So there's two films called God of Gamblers 3, both in canon. And they never thought to just call one of them number 4. There's God of Gamblers Return. There's God of Gamblers 2, but that's not God of Gamblers Return. There's All for the Winner, which is a spin-off. There's The Top Bet, which is actually God of Gamblers 2.5, if you like. Fist of Fury 1991 is nothing to do with Fist of Fury, but it is to do with God of Gamblers. This booklet and the commentary go into this in a massive way. It is brilliantly over the top, massively Hong Kong, because as we know, even the police story films, there's about 300 of them. If you follow those spin-offs, I mean, even Michelle Yeoh's got a spin-off from that. But really, what makes this film is Chow Yun Fat and the friendship between him and Andy Lau as it develops. It's a strange film. It's a bizarre film. References to Indiana Jones, references to James Bond, references to all sorts of films. But the connection to Twin Peaks, The Return, isn't just that Chow Yun Fat plays a character who is slick back hair, suave, debonair, wears a suit, and then becomes a man child like Dougie Jones in season 3. of Twin Peaks. No, it's actually in the way that he makes people's lives better as that man child without even realizing it. And then in his return, you're kind of constantly waiting for the God of Gamblers return. And Willie, is it going to be the same? Well, it's not that kind of movie. You're not going to be on tenterhooks too much. What it also does is that great thing in gambling movies where you have the two people standing watching the gambling taking place, and one of them obviously has no clue about gambling because they think we better explain this to the audience in case they don't know. So you have your hapless girl usually, like Vesper in Casino Royale, who has to go, "Oh, I don't know anything about cards. I'm just a woman." And you have your character saying, well, you see, he needs to draw an ace or it's curtains. What you probably haven't picked up by this stage in the review is that there are means involved in this film. Means of, I don't want to spoil it. This whole thing is bullshit, and everything that the God of Gamblers does should be null and void, but I won't say why. And from reading the booklet and from listening to the commentary, by the way, is by David West, who's on quite a lot of these wonderful Blu-rays that we're getting from Hong Kong cinema. From reading and listening to what David says, sometimes magic's involved, sometimes it's sci-fi, sometimes it is time travel, as I mentioned, sometimes it's witchcraft, sometimes it is just gambling ability, but the gambling scenes are tense. They do a great job on those, and you are certain kind of, he's drawn a two. Oh, he's not going to do it. He's not going to do it. Oh, he needs a seven or up. Who's going to do this? Oh, it's an eight. It's an eight. Yes. So there's plenty of those kind of scenes in it towards the end. Not a massive amount of action if that's what you want from a Chow Yun Fat, but what action there is really well done. It's fantastically fun. It's over the top. It's ridiculous. It's actually quite violent and actually quite gritty, as well as being astonishingly silly and incredibly fun. It's that strange mix that you really only get in Hong Kong cinema, and why you should never stick to Hollywood, folks. This is where it's at. Again, the booklet notes by Paul Bramall. So, Paul, thank you very much. As if you're watching, Paul. I can insult anybody in your family and you'd never know. Actually, I wouldn't want to. I'm sure you're a perfectly lovely guy. The original Cantonese mono and 5.1, English mono, which has been redone from the old dodgy subtitles, apparently. Archive interview. Excuse me, I'll take my focus right. Archive interviews with Chow Yun Fat, Andy Lau, and Wong Jing. English titles, so you can watch the titles in English in case that's a big deal for you. Hong Kong trailer, international trailer, stills gallery, reversible cover by new art by Sean Longmore. So that lovely cover, which you get the poster of Sean Longmore, an original Hong Kong poster on the reverse, but is, however, suitable for persons 18 and over only. So all of you 17-year-olds that watch my channel, I'm sorry, you need to wait till next year. All you 9-year-olds, we'll see you in nearly a decade. Region B locked from 88 films, beautiful transfer, wonderful, daft, silly film full of nonsense and shenanigans that also happens to be tense as hell, really suave, really cool, and the kind of film we just don't get in the West. It was one of the last films released in 1989, came out at the tail end of December 1989. Boy, I think it's fair to say Chow Yun Fat had a pretty good 1990s, eh? So, as did Andy Lau, come to think about it. So, yeah. So, highly recommended. From 88 Films, out next week, folks. So, vroom, God of Gamblers. And I bet you'll like it as much as me. Gambling joke there. It was an ace. Joke. Nah, 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 nah. That's kind of verging on just slightly punish, but not even jokish. Yeah, I think I better wrap it up there. Sorry. Anyway, thank you very much for attention. There will be more movies coming at the weekend. There's going to be, I'm looking forward to this, a black exploitation horror double bill. And the next couple of days, there will be a prog rock box set review and a hard rock verging on metal box set review. Both came yesterday, but I want to delve deep. I don't want to just give you first thoughts. I want to delve deep into a couple of things on them. So you can see them when you see them. Until then, though, stay very safe out there. And as usual, love and indeed mercy. Now that I'm not on the iPad, I'm so used to just hitting a button, but now I need to go down and listen to this old lady going, recording stopped. You press my buttons just right. She doesn't say that, but oh well. Anyway, toodaloo for now.